Here we go. Oh.
What?
I had something I was going to talk to you about, but I wanted to do that off air.
Oh, okay.
So I'll try to remember by writing myself a note.
Okay.
And I like how I say off air.
Yeah. Like we're live.
Like we're broadcasting live. Like I couldn't just say whatever I wanted and then just cut it out.
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah. Off air.
Oh, you guys can't. You can't make edits.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure can.
Sure can. We're not live. Fuck it. We're doing it
when
live.
You run at the mouth like I do. You got to have some edit control. We're not going live.
For sure. Need a bleep button.
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, we're on the internet, so
that's good.
We can say whatever we want.
Yeah.
And I forgot that I was, there we go, to adjust my mic because I was doing something else differently, and I had my my volume turned down a little more.
That was stupid of you.
Yeah. Well, the other mic, whoa, that was a little hot. This is live microphone adjustment for the people out in the world. Now, the other microphone I use doesn't need as much volume because it's a better microphone.
Gotcha.
Than the one that we're using.
Yeah.
They're more expensive, so
I'm
not bringing them to you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
I have one sitting new in the box. It's just for you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
It's just sitting there, though.
Well, when we go indoors.
I've looked at it, but no.
When we go indoors, we can use it.
Yeah. Yeah. One of these days, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But until then, you'll get the same shit show that you get every week. All right. Well, quite a bit's happened.
Yeah.
Since last we talked.
Yeah.
Did you say you had somewhere you wanted to go with this, or are we going to hold that for a little bit?
We can hold that for a little. We can talk about college.
We can talk about like the games that happened this last week.
Yeah.
I'm going to start. We'll just start with Notre Dame and Alabama.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because obviously there's less talking to do about that game.
For sure.
Here's the thing. One, the late scores for Notre Dame get the fucking late cover.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to say, because I was trying to track the numbers, I think I saw it was almost 85% of the money was on Alabama.
Wow.
And then you get that
cover.
That late touchdown was like 2 minutes left. That meant nothing.
Meant nothing, no, because they weren't ever going to come back.
And then Notre Dame covers.
Uh-huh.
That's a hard hit.
That is a hard
hit. But, I mean, Notre Dame got blown out.
Yeah.
I think everybody saw that coming.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time talking about how they wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
how they could
stop from getting blown out.
Yes.
Which they basically implemented that game plan.
They did. They just didn't execute touchdown-wise.
But the bad thing is they got blown out.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they played good.
I'll say this. It wasn't that, we talked about that blitz last week from Alabama. We didn't see that. We saw Alabama have to go down and score. They had a couple flashy plays here and there because it's Alabama. They're going to.
Yeah.
But for the most part, Notre Dame made them, move the ball. They made them do that. They made them keep snapping the ball. So I thought they played well. Like you said, I thought they played well. And I didn't think that it was as big of, it didn't feel like as big as a blowout as it was.
Right.
You know what I mean? It just, it was like, okay, this is still interesting to watch, even though it's 38-7. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It was one of those that it was not, it was very early indication that Notre Dame could not win that game.
Yes. Yes.
But it wasn't like, it was a very slowly like, hey, boys, you need to score.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, it's just like, hey, now it's 14.
Yep.
Hey, now it's 21.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like, boom.
Boom, yeah.
But, I think it's just kind of what we figured. And
the
thing that shocked me and why I say Notre Dame played good is because they only gave up 31 points.
Yeah. That's good. It was what? The final was 31-14?
17.
17? Okay.
Yeah.
31-17. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
That's not that's a discussion for next year to where nobody's going to be like, well, they keep getting fucking blown out, so why are we going to have them in?
Yeah.
That's okay because it's still Alabama at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I like what, because I don't know why reporters do that, but they do just because I don't know that. I don't want to shit on all the reporters, but I'm kind of going to shit on all the reporters right now.
Okay.
But the fact that you're asking Brian Kelly after he got beat, basically, of what makes you think you belong.
Yeah.
Of like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, are you not good enough to write a story, to just write a story as opposed to just shitting on a guy.
Yeah, who just lost.
And Brian Kelly gave the perfect answer of like, we're going to keep getting better and we're going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, most teams are getting beat like that by Alabama.
Yeah.
And I think he was like, name teams that didn't get beat like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
that's just what Alabama does and what they've been doing for many years.
Yeah.
It's not just a this year thing that Alabama's good. I mean, good God. That's a stupid question. It's a stupid question.
And he got it 9 times?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, why are you asking that?
What are you doing?
I mean, if there's a guy you're asking that question to, it's probably Brian Kelly because he handles things with class.
Right.
We're 11-1, 11-2. We belong here.
Yeah.
We're the 4th best team in the country. I didn't vote myself that. Other people voted us that. That's why we belong.
Yeah. And that's just can they compete?
Yeah.
Probably not right now. No, with the level that Alabama's at right now. It's just, and your only litmus test is against Alabama and Clemson. That's what you're talking about. Now, years ago when they played Ohio State a couple times, Ohio State beat them by a couple touchdowns each time or whatever. But okay. But when they keep throwing that up about, well, here's what he's done in big bowl games, it's like all the times they've been boat raced is Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State. Who boat races most teams in the country?
Exactly.
Those 3.
Yeah.
I mean, you're holding him to a standard. And then and then you're making arguments about how great the SEC is. Their average victory was like 28 points.
Exactly.
In the SEC.
Where it means more.
Yeah. Except defense, apparently. But it just doesn't make sense why they keep shitting on him. And I understand that they're not being competitive, but the fact that they can get in those games, and I thought they played well, they held Alabama to 31 points. And then when you look at, I mean, you got to put them in the categories of, that's a team that's at like Northwestern and Stanford level. Yeah. And they're competing at a high level with those standards of getting in.
Exactly. Like, you don't have the same athletes on the field as Alabama, Clemson, or Ohio State.
Of your 22 starters on Alabama's squad, not talking about special teams, obviously, how many of them have the academic requirements to get into Notre Dame?
100%. I mean, you're right.
I mean, that, it's like you have to take that into account.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you look at it, like you said, with the Northwestern thing, Pat Fitzgerald does a wonderful job for what he gets, does a great job with what he can recruit, but you don't ever see anybody giving him any slack for that.
Everybody loves him.
It's the same situation. Northwestern probably has a little bit of a higher standard to get in than Notre Dame, but it's still, they're an academic university. They're going to get what they can get.
And I think Northwestern's never making the playoff.
No.
They would have made it if there was a 16 team. They would have made that. They would have played Alabama.
Yeah.
And the outcome would have probably been almost exactly the same.
Probably.
Because what Fitzgerald has done is he's locked in knowing that he can get guys that can play defense, and he can coach them up. And the one thing that Northwestern does every year is they play quality, sound defense.
Yeah.
And once in a while, they have an offense.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way it is. They try to run the ball, and they're going to stop you.
Yeah.
They play
tough,
they do.
Physical football. They're not going to score many points.
Yeah.
Neither probably are you unless you're really, really good.
Right. So that's the most disappointing thing. There's another press conference thing that I'm very upset with also, but that was in the other game. But,
I want to talk about the Alabama thing. I felt like they took the gas off the pedal a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had that feeling that they weren't trying to score. They were just playing foot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it felt like that. And I'm not saying that they did that or anything like that, but I think they could easily put up 2 more touchdowns on them.
I think so.
You know what I mean?
I think they kind of felt like once they got to the point of like, hey, we're not losing this game.
Yeah, they kind of backed off a little bit.
Let's keep scoring. Let's go ahead and knock this clock out and not show too much of anything else that we've worked on. And let's start.
Yeah, let's save some people. They are playing for a national championship game. Yeah, you need your athletes. So that's just what I felt, and that could be part of the reason why it didn't seem like as big as a blowout as it was.
But I think that game went the way everybody thought it would.
Yeah.
Except by 2 less points than everybody thought it would.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That sucks for the bettors. Okay, so we'll flip it to the other game. Betting wise, did you see the big bet that the dude won?
The guy from Indiana.
Yeah. $2.5 million?
Yeah, he put like $1 million on Ohio State to win.
Yeah. Won $2.5 million?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus, God.
Good for him.
Number one, to have $1 million to put on the line is one thing.
To throw on a game like that where it's like you're betting on a team that you have not seen play a full game yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then,
I mean, that's just where you're at.
Pretty much. And then to, come out a winner, that's fucking nuts. That's a ballsy ass move, dude.
Yeah.
I can see, like $200 or $500 or even $1,000 down.
Yeah.
But fucking $1 million? Jesus Christ.
I just kind of want to know, like, what's that guy do?
Yeah, I know. To throw that down?
Because they say, well, maybe he's probably just a professional gambler. I understand that, and I know people are professional gamblers. Mm-hmm. But when professional gamblers that throw that kind of money down,
there's something else.
Also have other jobs.
For sure.
That it's like, well, he's a professional gambler, but he also is the heir to this company.
Yeah,
that, exactly. It's like, yeah, he's a $85 million in the bank.
Exactly. I mean, yeah. Just crazy.
Yeah, that's
just crazy.
Yeah, but like Vegas had a pretty good day on Saturday because they got all the money.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost $1.5 million to that guy, but then they took in probably, I don't know, 80 million, probably. I don't know what gets bet on those games, but yeah.
So game wise, I don't think anybody in the country, let alone rational Ohio State fans, thought that was going to happen.
No.
Talk about irrational Ohio State fans think they're going to win every goddamn game. Right. So I don't want to talk to those people, but the rational Ohio State fans thought that, kind of what we talked about last week, where if Ohio State wins, it's by 6, 3, 1, something like that. They're not going to win in the fashion that they won, on Saturday. So I think it was nice to see as an Ohio State fan, the aggressiveness of everything and the fact that your defense actually showed up to play some football. You had a pass rush for the first time ever this season
through the middle, which is big.
Yeah, and then that dude, the 11 coming off the edge, looked fucking sweet coming off the edge, man. I mean, it was nice to see the defense play as well as the offense, because when I grew up, everybody was talking about the silver bullets. I grew up watching AJ Hawk and Bobby Carpenter and that defense. These last couple of years. The last good, really solid total defense I remember seeing is probably the national championship team in 2015.
Right.
That defense was sound everywhere. And since then, it's kind of fallen off.
Since then, they've had pieces.
Exactly.
They haven't had a defense.
No,
they haven't, let's be real honest, they haven't had a linebacking core in a long time.
Not since probably that year with, Darren Lee and Josh Perry and all those guys. But, it's not that. Like the last solid middle linebacker I can remember is Raekwon McMillan, in this Urban Ryan Day era.
But then again, at that point in time, that position
it's dying.
Is obsolete.
It's dying now.
They really don't exist in the NFL anymore, mainly because the passing game is like, well, we don't need the AJ Hawk.
We have fast safeties, bigger safeties
that's doing that for the passing game. Now that's going to flip.
Yes.
Because you're going to catch a Bill Belichick going, hey, you got that small linebacker back there?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get this big back here like a Najee Harris.
Exactly.
They can just go, we're just going to run it down your throat.
Pretty much.
Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why football is awesome, because it changes all the fucking time.
It's going to change.
Yeah. But, Clemson-wise, did they figure out Trevor Lawrence? He didn't look the same.
Pressure.
And
pressure up the middle.
I don't think he's seen pressure in a long time.
Yeah. Probably hadn't seen it since last year.
Probably.
And it was a different pressure last year because it's from the edges.
Yep.
And that's such a... Outside pass rushers are such a huge game changer.
Mm-hmm.
They just are. Because they just can wreck your day.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a weak inside, they're not a problem.
No.
Because the quarterback just steps up.
Exactly.
But you saw in that game where Trevor Lawrence could not step up.
No.
You just can't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a problem. That's why you see him getting on. It's one of those weird things of now, granted, he threw a pick, which, you know what? Okay, he had to sling that one up. It was, I don't really consider that interception against him. He coughed the ball up.
Yeah.
Twice. That's a problem. At the end of the day, he still threw for 400 yards.
I know it. But it's still, you say that, but it
wasn't the same.
It was not the same. It wasn't as, it's flashy or anything like that. And I just thought, I was like, hey, is this kid human? That's what I thought watching it. And I didn't say anything or anything like that. I didn't want to jinx it, Right. Like, oh, this kid, he's not playing very well, and then slings another 4 touchdowns and makes it a game. But I watching him in other games, 2 weeks ago when they played Notre Dame, he looked solid. I mean, he looked like fucking Trevor Lawrence. And then it's like, okay, well, I know the pressure probably hurt, and when you fumble once, you start to second guess yourself what you're doing and things like that. That's just a human thing to do.
And I think that was it's such a pass happy game, and it's awesome.
Yeah,
I love the pass because it's really fun to watch.
Yeah,
but you saw right then, like he threw 400 yards, but there was no threat that Clemson could run that football.
No,
none at all.
No,
and that just changed the shit out of the game.
Yeah.
Because Justin Fields threw for less yards than Trevor Lawrence, but also seemed to have the better game.
Yeah.
But they ran the fuck out of the ball.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, Trey Sermon ran for 190 yards.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah. That's the difference. That's
kind
the difference.
of it.
That's the difference right there.
At the end of the day, you still got to be able to run that football because your play action doesn't mean shit.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we're not going to bite on this play action because if you do hand him the ball, he's getting a yard.
Exactly.
So we're not really concerned about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I seen, and I love doing this because I'll jump in Twitter and
mid-game and just see and
even after the game.
Yeah.
Because after the game's when you get the deepest takes from fans. And I do this like all year is one of my favorite things is on Saturdays to just go into the search, type in Michigan football, and just start reading of like just people losing their minds. So I love jumping into fan bases and just seeing their reaction. Yeah. And dude, Clemson fans are like, well, it's over. We had a good run, but we can't compete anymore because Dabo Swinney is basically Dabo Swinney's terrible coach is what it was coming down to.
Yeah.
Like, well, hold on a second. Like in the last 6 years, you've won 2 national championships. You played for 1 or 2 more, and you've never missed the playoffs.
Exactly.
But it's basically
1 year.
LSU. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first year, wasn't it?
For sure, yeah.
LSU boat raced them, which LSU was going to boat race anybody last year. That's just the way it was.
Yeah.
And then they got smashed by Ohio State. So off of those 2 games, and it was the same thing I said to you, that if Ohio State got thumped like Clemson did, you'd be getting it lumped in with that Notre Dame of like, well, Ohio State keeps you getting blown out.
Exactly.
And that's where Clemson's at. Your last 2 playoff appearances, even though you won a game last year, you was in the national championship game, was blowouts, and they're all freaking out of like,
I know it.
Dabo's lost the culture. He's not any good. It was a good 5-6 year run, guys, but we're going to go back to standard Clemson football of like, hey,
calm down.
You realize, like, when your quarterback was out, now you lost this game, but your freshman quarterback that stepped in threw for 400 fucking yards.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay.
For sure you're going to be okay.
You're still playing the ACC, which is garbage.
Garbage.
And Notre Dame won't be in it next year. Well, hopefully. Because if they are, it means we're still in the shit show that we're going through. But, I mean, but it's just the freak out. And then I was reading, it was really well put together. I can't remember who wrote it. It was from Letterman Row, though.
Okay.
And it was them, they were just grabbing tweets through the game of, Clemson fans kind of as the game was going on. And then they was grabbing tweets from Michigan fans as the game went on.
Yeah.
And then the one that I loved was somebody said, hey, with the year that this sermon is ending up on, at least he won't be back next year.
Yeah.
And that's good for Michigan.
Yeah.
And then the very next tweet was, did you not see that 240-pound freshman that just train wrecked Clemson's safety?
Yeah.
Because that guy ran him over.
He did,
And then you never seen him again.
No.
But it was like, I love those little things when people are like, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of that, well, Ohio State's playing for a national championship again, and we're trying to re-sign Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I love about college football. Like, I love watching the games, but the passion of the fans that are surrounding it from other teams that are watching the game and comparing these teams to their team and what it's going to mean in the future. That's what's great about it. Of just like, well, fuck, we're a Michigan fan and look what's happened.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah. I like to read those too, and I flip it to the opposite side. I can't fucking stand to read the Ohio State fans when they win.
It's terrible.
Oh my God. It's so annoying. Because then you get everybody and their fucking brother who thinks they know football starting to give their opinions on this and that and this and that. And then it's like, dude, shut the fuck up. We are people and we're bad mouthing college level coaches and athletes and all that stuff. We mean nothing.
Yeah.
So just enjoy the win. You know, you can make jokes here and there, but I don't need your 2 cents of what you thought was, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just stupid shit like that. I know we do that, but it's not in a harmful manner. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not a hateful thing. These guys are being hateful to everything.
Well, start with the beginning of the show. The one thing we didn't do, we didn't come in and shit all over Notre Dame. I'm actually very respectful of Notre Dame, and I'm not a Notre Dame fan at all.
No.
But that's a good fucking team.
Yeah.
They're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
But now, you know, a lot of those fans, though, it's just like, that guy fucking sucks. It's like, are you serious? And I compare that to, like, people saying that, like, to the NFL over, like, fucking Jets, man. Those guys are just like, are professional. Like, when your team doesn't beat them by as many as you thought they should have.
Exactly.
Like, there's 53 guys over there getting fucking paid to do this for a living.
I want you to walk up to one of those guys and say, you fucking suck.
Yeah.
And watch them beat your ass.
And then, or flip it to the NBA. Like, because the NBA's, the talent gap in the NBA might be comparable to college football.
Yeah.
Of like, you have 3 or 4 teams that have everything. And then the rest of the teams are just kind of playing around.
Yeah.
But like, you take one of those shitty teams of like the way the Sixers were, where they were winning like 15 fucking games in a year. And people talking about how shitty they are. But you can go and tell that person of, hey, that guy that's number 15 sitting on the end of the bench, you know how fucking good at basketball that guy is?
Exactly.
Like, crazy good at basketball.
Yeah.
It's just, it dumbfounds me.
You look at some of the people in Ohio State teams, those were some of the best players in their state.
Yeah.
And they're not getting on the field.
Right.
So shut the fuck up.
Yeah. You don't know.
You don't know anything. Don't know. No.
But, that game was so shocking that I almost couldn't believe it as I was watching it.
Yeah.
I knew Ohio State's offense was good, but they made it look so easy.
They did.
I mean,
they did.
That was such. I think they talked about it on ESPN or wherever after the game.
Yeah.
And some of that topic and stuff. But like when Ohio State was doing kind of like that little sugar huddle. And then just flipping to the line and snapping it.
Yeah.
And Clemson couldn't line up.
Yeah.
Of like, that's such a little thing that most of the fans never know.
No.
Because college is such a look at me sport right now that offense lines up, defense stares right over at their coordinator for him to tell them what to do.
Yeah.
When you flip to the line like that, and they can't make any adjustment, they're just in base.
There's nothing else. So you have your base.
You can't do anything.
Nope. Nothing. And that, I know we talked about it last week, only playing 6 games probably helped Ohio State in this situation because they didn't see everything, that Ohio State probably would have used that in a tight game, if they would have played their full schedule.
Yeah.
If the Michigan game was a close game, they probably would have went to that to change the pace, to change something up. They didn't have that game. They didn't have a close game, so they didn't have to use it, To
the point of what you made of probably a reason they never seen the tight ends.
Exactly.
Some of that, like that, what was the third touchdown to the tight end of the run out left, throw
action.
back across to the right.
Yeah.
Never seen that play.
Nope.
Not once did you see that play.
And Ohio State actually ran play action.
Yeah.
They're in they typically
in the game before, you run for 300 yards.
Yeah. But still, though, RPOs and play actions are basically the same thing. You're just not reading anybody, but for them to do that, that's something different that you don't typically see them do.
Yeah, and the one thing that was nice to see that Ohio State wasn't is they were actually away from the RPO game. Like we're just running the fucking ball.
Exactly.
And we're going to hard play action. RPOs are great for that initial look. And in the RPO game, it's for even the pass in an RPO game is a run because at best it's 3 yards.
Because it's quick.
Your offensive line is going out like it's a run because that's what they have to do. So you have to throw it so fast because that receiver's down the field. What is it? 3 yards down the field? 5 yards?
Yep.
Yeah, your offensive lineman can't be doing that.
No.
So it's
always quick.
It's always quick. But by just shelving that a little bit and running the ball and then a hard play action, that's why you get deep shots.
Exactly.
Because those guys
come up,
take one step down,
that's all they need.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes.
And that's fun to watch. I think, to me, the RPO game gets just a little too much in college football of like, that's a piece of the puzzle, but not to make it the whole thing.
An RPO game in college football can be stopped in the same situation of how to stop an option, a triple option team. Some of your players are for this, your other players are for that. So you're not necessarily getting all that movement all at once.
Yeah.
When you're running the football and you're running that hard play action, everybody has to stop up because you're getting 6 to 7 yards of pop.
Right.
So that's the difference in the RPO game, and that's why some teams are really good at it, and that's why some teams are really bad at it.
And I think you have, like the way Ohio State has been playing against the run, when they're dominating the line of scrimmage like they did in that game, you can't run RPO against that.
No.
Because, hey, they don't have to commit guys to stop your run game.
No, you keep chunking the clock off. Go ahead.
You want to run RPO? Well, these 4 guys are going to stop your run. And we're just going to get up and we're just going to press on the outside, and now you can't throw your fat of what are you going to do?
Exactly.
That was, I'd seen Urban Meyer talking about the game because they showed him a couple times how high up he was sitting at the Superdome. And he said that's the highest he's ever sat and watched a football game. And he'd said, whatever their group chat between all the guys at Big Noon or whatever, like Reggie and all those guys. He said 5 minutes into the game, he texted the group chat of this game's over. He said, because sitting up there, I saw on offense and defense what Ohio State's offensive line and what Ohio State's defensive line was doing to Clemson. He said, like, Ohio State's offensive line was pushing them 3 or 4 yards of like, this game's over. Because you can't win when that's happening to you on both sides of the ball. You just can't win.
Yeah.
Will not be the same for next week.
No, it will not. And we can talk about, we know Ohio State won. We don't have to really go into that deeper. But, next week, you're right. That's not going to happen.
No.
That's not going to happen. Ohio State, this coming Monday has to be just as perfect as they were on Saturday.
Probably more so.
You're probably right.
And the news is getting worse for them.
Yes, it is. Because, Ohio State isn't releasing any really news about what's going on, but rumor mill is that there's a position group that's out. We don't know what position group that is.
And that was a weird one because it kind of caught some traction on like Tuesday, and then it went away. Like nobody's talking about that right now.
No, so either that's just a rumor, or something is actually happening. It could be the punter's room. We don't. It could be the special. We don't know what it is.
Fucking kick returners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We don't know. And for them to say a room. Colleges, they have rooms, but they're not in them as much as you think they are. They're in them at the beginning to kind of go over what they need to do for the week and stuff like that. But it's not an NFL where you spend a lot of time in your room. You're in there you're in college. You're in there for probably a half hour, 45 minutes maybe. Because they're still students, they still have to go do shit. But for that to just go away, either that was just a hoax or just. There's just that less,
or it was just a scare.
Or if Ohio State has just locked it up that much to where we're not going to find out until Monday afternoon,
which is what they've done all year.
Exactly.
Even the only person you found out that had it was Ryan Day. And I know a lot of people are like, well, they need to disclose who got. It's like they don't know you shit. Yeah. They disclose it to the Big Ten and to the other team.
Yeah.
They don't know the fans anything.
Or the news
media
anything.
One. They shouldn't be telling anybody's health things to anybody.
Exactly. That's not
like, that's weird when people say that. They're like, well, they need to disclose the information of who's got it. Like, well, hold on a second. Like when you go to the doctor, do you want your doctor to tell everybody what you have?
Exactly.
Because there's a law that prevents people from doing that.
Exactly.
Of like,
Yeah, I like that. You don't know, so it's it just stays within your team. But they're going to have to do everything right.
You're going to know Saturday.
Yeah,
when they go to travel, if there's people out of the game, they will not be on that plane.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But the other part of why I was talking about it going bad, and I like that you brought that because I wasn't even going to bring that up.
Oh, okay.
But the part that's going really bad for Ohio State is fucking Jalen Waddle was on the fucking practice field.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. I did hear that. That is a big fucking problem.
Because here's the thing. He's a top 10 draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's like, well, we're going to see how he feels. And I was like, he's not practicing if he's not playing right now.
Exactly.
Now, if he doesn't play, it's because he went through some practice, had pain, got swollen up, something happened. He's on the practice field because he's fucking playing.
Exactly. He won. So, yeah, exactly.
So don't be shocked.
Uh-huh.
He will be on the field.
For sure he'll be on the field.
Now, he won't be probably not returning punts.
Probably, or kicks. Probably not returning things. Probably more of a,
but,
and he's probably going to have some.
He's playing.
Some reps. He's probably not going to go a full game. I don't know. He broke his foot, didn't he? Or his ankle?
Fracture.
Wasn't
broken. It was fractured.
6 weeks typically is,
like a
is
bitch.
that. Yeah. 6 weeks.
It was borderline. Nasty. It was a half-inch of way of body pressure
from snapping
from being Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I mean, it was that same kind of rolled up on, kind of from behind.
Yeah, nasty.
It was real close.
Nasty. It was gross watching it. I mean, I watched the kick return. I was watching that game, so it was nasty. But if he's playing, it's a scarier game. It's a scarier game because their vertical passing attack is so incredibly good, which is why I feel we beat Clemson defensively because Clemson does not have a very good vertical passing attack.
Well, and let's just remind everybody of this because I think a lot of people have probably forgotten because it was October when this happened.
Mm-hmm.
The receiver for Alabama that just won the Heisman, isn't the best receiver on the team.
No, he's not.
So everybody let that sink in for a second.
Uh-huh.
The guy that won the Heisman Trophy for catching fucking footballs for Alabama is not their best receiver on the team.
Yeah.
That guy is the guy we're talking about that was just at practice.
Yeah.
100% is playing.
Yeah.
Because, again, he wouldn't be practicing if he wasn't playing. Because if he wasn't playing, he'd be working out on his own because he's going to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same thing going on in the NFL right now of like golf. There was they're like, well, we don't know. It's like, well, he looks like he's in full pads and throwing the football. He's fucking playing.
Exactly.
Because he wouldn't be out there practicing if he wasn't going to play in the game.
Exactly.
So just
calm your jets.
Everybody, Ohio State fans out there, be prepared. Waddle will be playing. Maybe 10 plays, and maybe 4 plays.
Mm-hmm.
He will be in the game.
It may be only fucking special teams. Maybe that's what they want to use him for. I mean, to get that little edge there. But yeah, it'll be super fucking interesting if he does end up playing more than we think he does.
Because the thing is with that guy is he is when it comes to the combine or his pro day or whatever, do not be shocked when Waddle's clock number's in that 4.2 range.
Yeah.
That's the kind of guy he is. Of like,
yeah, I know. I just can't. You bring that up, and I just can't imagine that going well for Ohio State.
What do you do?
Because if he doesn't play, then you can typically kind of really just focus on Smith. You don't have to. You do have to worry about other people because it's fucking Alabama. But you can kind of make that your center focus, and then you can have everybody else worry about Najee Harris. Running the football, but now you have another guy on the other side of the field.
Yeah.
What the hell do you do?
And even if it's at the point of just thinking about it this way, say if he can't run the whole route tree, that maybe he doesn't have the stability to make those cuts, and say he plays 10 plays.
Yeah. He's scoring one of those plays.
But if Waddle goes out there, and the only thing that he can do is run straight line, and he just runs 10 go routes, they're going to get him on one of them.
Exactly.
And secondly, if your safety's got to be sprinting back to not let him beat you deep, the Heisman Trophy winner is on the other side.
Exactly.
Meaning that he's probably got some one-on-one coverage. It's a problem. As soon as I seen that he was on the practice field, I went, oh, fuck.
I know.
And I think that's why the line went to 8.5.
Yeah.
and it's probably going to push to 9.
Probably. It probably will. And I don't know anybody who's watched both teams this and doesn't think Alabama's going to win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're Ohio State fans, but we kind of understand what Alabama is.
Yeah.
I just don't see Ohio, and I said it last week, but I just think they played really, really well. Clemson had some areas where you could beat them. I don't see one. I know Alabama's secondary is kind of iffy, and Florida was able to push the ball deep on them. Ohio State can do that, but they also have to turn around and stop their deep pass.
I think Ohio State, I think the over-under is around the 77-ish number. The over is in play.
Oh,
I think Ohio State's going to score on Alabama. It's just go back to the Florida game. Like, you can realistically say Florida should have beat them.
Yeah.
100% should have beat Alabama.
Yeah.
And there's no question about that there's 2 third and longs that Florida got personal fucking fouls on because that's what Florida does.
Yeah.
And then an interception that the guy got trucked and fumbled it right back to Alabama.
Exactly.
Which was also on a 3rd down that they were going to have to kick a field goal, but got a 1st down.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 3 right there.
Yep.
And we're talking, a 6-point game.
Mm-hmm.
So you make a realistic argument that
they could
Florida should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you say could have instead of should have. But playing out the game the way it was because Alabama scored touchdowns on all 3 of those possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Now the thing is in big games, that's what Ohio State does.
Yeah.
They get somebody into a 3rd and 10 and give up a big play.
Yep.
Or they rough the passer.
Yep.
That's kind of been what they've always done.
Yep.
And it's never a roughing the passer of a helmet to helmet. It's I took 4 extra steps and then just shoved the quarterback for some reason.
Exactly. Why?
It's always that.
It is. It's always something stupid that you want to bitch about, but don't do it.
And it will happen.
Uh-huh.
But it's that of...
Yeah.
What do you... Okay, here's my question for you. We'll probably do predictions or something at some point. I don't know. But how many points does Ohio State have if they win the game?
42.
You think that's the number?
I think that's the number they have to get to.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be like a...
No, I'm saying it. I'm telling you, Ohio State wins the game.
Oh, okay.
How many points do they have?
Between 42 and 49.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I think that's what they score.
That's the number.
That's the number. You say they win, that's the number they have to get to win. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm not, and I guess it's kind of weird how I'm asking that question. I'm not saying what they need to get to win. I'm saying if you come in on fucking Tuesday and Ohio State has won the national championship, how many points do they have?
Yeah.
And I think you're probably right. I think it's 49 to 42.
Something of that range there.
Because that's why I told my brother that because before I left his house after the Ohio State Clemson game, they were talking about the early line, and the early line came out at 7 or 7.5. And I kind of told him, well, yeah, Alabama's going to be the favorite. And it's never going to be less than 7 because this is a one touchdown. I don't see a lot of field goals.
Uh-huh.
So I think whoever wins this game is pretty much by a touchdown.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's the way,
Yeah.
Because I feel the way that both offenses are playing, if either team is kicking field goals, you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Because they're so high-powered offenses that you can't be stopped. In this game, you cannot have a field goal. If you are, they have to have a field goal too. They can't trade. Either team can't trade field goal for touchdown and then still try to get back at them because you didn't see that on Saturday.
Yeah.
And you definitely can't see that on Monday night.
And the one is you have to assume that for Ohio State to win, Fields has to play exactly how he played.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Sermon has to have the same game.
I think so,
I think
too.
Sermon's got to put, and maybe not just him, but the running back group, however it is, they got to push 200 yards.
Yeah.
That's just, it's the same game plan that we talked about last week with Notre Dame. Alabama can't score if they don't have the fucking ball.
Yeah.
So if you're looking that you need to make them punt 2 or 3 times or just turn it over on downs in that kind of no man's land area or miss a field goal, 2 or 3 times you need to stop that and you need to score every time.
Yeah.
Or at least one more time than them. and just bleed the clock.
Yeah.
Snap it with 5 seconds, run the ball, first downs.
Yeah.
And just bleed that thing out of if you tell me that Ohio State can do what Notre Dame did and hold Alabama to 31 points, Ohio State wins that game.
I think so.
I
really think so. And then, you flip side of what Alabama has to do. I'll compare, this game Monday to, what Clemson didn't do on Saturday is you're not going to see Alabama give up on the run game.
No.
Even if Ohio State even if they're only getting 1 to 2 yards a carry, eventually they're going to bust one because they just stick with it. And they run a lot of different looks and a lot of different motions and stuff like that. And
he's a big boy.
Yeah, he's a big dude. Yeah. I mean, he's bigger than probably 2 of the linebackers.
Yeah.
But the way that Alabama's been really running their quick game and their screen game, the only reason, and it worked for Clemson early in the game, but they got down that they couldn't run screens anymore. So, and I don't think Alabama's going to get down 3 scores to where they can't, but they run a lot of good bubble screens. They run a lot of good other screens to where that's Ohio State's going to have to come up and tackle. And I'm not necessarily thinking that when I think of really, really good tackling teams, I don't put Ohio State up there. I think, especially if you're throwing screens to Smith or even if Waddles end up playing and he can go, they're going to try to get those guys out in space against a one-on-one tackle that, they're probably going to win.
And I think you got a good look at what Ohio State's plan on defense always was, is the way you see their corners and everything bail out. We're going to give you 7 yards. But when you're down 14 points, you're not going to be able to settle for that 5-yard out.
Exactly.
And that's what happened because they could have threw the ball for 5 to 7 yards every whole game.
Exactly.
But it just got to the point where you couldn't anymore.
And you have to start taking shots. Yeah. I don't see that happening.
No.
I think, I don't know, it's going to be really fun to fucking watch.
Yeah. Because the difference between Clemson and Alabama is Alabama will throw a 7-yard pass that goes for 90.
Yeah.
That's just their talent level. So
yeah, and I hate to say it, I don't think Ohio State gets fucking torched. I don't think they get beat.
I don't think they get embarrassed.
I don't think they get beat by 3 scores.
No.
I don't think it's anything to where you're like, oh man, I don't want to watch this anymore. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a competitive football game.
I could see, and honestly, here's the way I would think about it. Alabama giving 8 points.
Yeah.
I'd probably take Alabama given the 8 because I feel, I know I said that it would be a touchdown game, but I feel like one of those times Ohio State settles for a field goal and it feels like it's going to be a 10-point game. Alabama's probably a touchdown better.
Yeah.
And Ohio State settles and that's where you get,
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just really excited for it. I mean, this is what you play for.
Yeah.
When it's the biggest, it's the fucking championship game against fucking Alabama.
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than this if you're an Ohio State player. I mean, you're playing the best program in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
So, bring your fucking A game. I mean, I think that is a big deal.
And I think with Ryan Day, you're going to see a whole bunch of shit that you've never seen before.
I think so too.
Because I think that's just the coach that he is.
Yeah, I think he likes to give different looks. And
I think when people started asking about where Trey Sermon was, obviously he was new on campus. They didn't have, they didn't really have a training camp. But if you really look at it, you got to remember that Justin Fields was hey, this guy's probably going to win the Heisman. And once the Heisman was out the window, you started seeing the running game in there. So basically, I think that when they were playing shitty and just kind of slinging it everywhere,
they're trying to get his stats.
I think they're just trying to get his stats at hey, we're only playing 6-7 games, so he's got to throw for 350 a game
exactly to be in that conversation.
And then once that was out the window, okay, well, we're just going to run the ball now.
But even earlier in the year when they tried to run the ball, I think they just thought, Teague's been here, he knows the offense and stuff, and they try to give it to him, and then realize he's probably not the guy.
He's just not it.
Yeah, we're going to give it to this dude. And Oklahoma didn't really run the ball to see what he could do.
No.
He knew he was a good football player because, all the screens and stuff like that, but you didn't know he was a running back.
Yeah.
You thought he was kind of that Curtis Samuel H-back. You can do whatever the hell you Swiss Army knife kind of deal.
That's what I wonder if Lincoln's like watching these last 2 games of Ohio State going, fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have just handed the ball off some.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, think Lincoln?
Yeah.
Maybe.
At
the end of the day, all you pass-happy guys watching the NFL, when it comes down to it, now Patrick Mahomes, different level. but you're going to see a running game, and you're going to see teams that can stop the run.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
You want to transition? Because we spent 45 minutes talking about college football.
Give me your prediction first.
You want a final score, or you just want who wins? Alabama wins 42-32.
God, that's a good one. I was going to say Alabama wins 45-38.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's a good game. And I think that it is like a heartbreaker. It could be a heartbreaker at Ohio State if it's like, hey, it's Alabama's up 35-32 under 4 minutes, and Ohio State has the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And then, something happens and an Alabama house is one to make it a 10-point game.
Yep.
That's kind of how I see it going.
Yeah. I'm
almost kind of the way the Clemson game went last year of like, boy, it's right there, and it just
goes away. Yeah.
The plays that you need go the other way.
Yeah. I'm with you.
So,
all right. Yeah, we can transition. We can transition.
Yeah, let's transition into the NFL, which I am fantastic at.
Okay. Yeah. Randy went 5-0 in his picks this week.
Yep. Pretty big football show here, fellas.
I went 3-1-1.
3-1-1.
Had a fucking draw. Colts and Jaguars.
Because Colts.
Fucking Colts.
What is it with the Jags?
I don't know. They can't fucking beat them.
Because
can't beat them by what they're supposed to.
I understand that the Colts beat them by 4 times. I don't know how much of that game you watched, but I watched. Like, it was a fucking game.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of that game, but
it was a game.
Yeah.
Like, the 14-point win was not depicted of how that game was.
Yeah.
It was like, it was a 7-point game, and Jacksonville had the fucking ball.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And it became a 14 game because Jonathan Taylor broke a 45-yard touchdown run with less than 4 minutes left. So that's how
exactly.
Like, so you have one win, and it was against the Colts, and then you had one other game where it looked like you were playing damn well, and it was against the Colts.
Yeah, exactly.
Who now have to go into Buffalo. So
yeah,
who just housed a team trying to get into the playoffs by fucking 40.
Yeah, it was so crazy.
Oh my God.
So crazy, man. They're fucking for real.
Fucking NFL, man. They ended on a high note, though.
They did. It was awesome.
Dude, I mean, even coming down to the last of it of
the fucking Browns-Steelers game.
Yeah.
I mean, fucking Mason Rudolph says, hey, I might be able to play football.
I feel so fucking bad for Browns fans.
I do too.
Because one, you had to fight your ass off to win that game against when they didn't even put their best. They didn't even go to Cleveland.
No, they didn't.
Like Ben and them stayed in Pittsburgh. But you got it. You got over the step.
Yep. And now you have this.
I mean, you don't have a coach. Your starting guard is
your
done.
Pro Bowl guard, the longest tenured Brown.
Can't play in the playoff game. Never been to the playoffs.
Nope.
It's just such a...
Yeah, and then you have to turn around and play him for the third time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just... I feel so bad of like, hey, you made the playoffs, guys. Now, granted, you're probably not going to get boat raced.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly for the fact that I don't know that Pittsburgh can boat race anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, if you really look at it as being friends of Steelers fans, they would tell you these are the games that they lose, like losing to the Bengals.
Exactly.
Like when they're supposed to murder something, like Cleveland not having all their players, all this is everything going against Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
Pittsburgh should walk right through them. These are games that they get beat in.
So...
But it's in Pittsburgh.
In Pittsburgh. In Tomlin's time there, I love Mike Tomlin.
I do too.
He's won 1 Super Bowl there. He's had really good, and he hasn't had a losing season in 16 years there.
Yeah.
They don't play well in the playoffs.
No.
They've got, the year that, the Broncos won the Super Bowl in 15. People forget the Steelers had the Broncos down with under 5 minutes left to play. They're running the football, and the dude fucking fumbles the ball.
Yeah.
And then Denver goes down and scores. So things can fucking happen. I mean, it was not, they should have won that game, and I can think of, playoff games where they're playing the Bengals when the Bengals were good, where that was closer than it should have been because they fucked around. And the Bengals
were the teams doing that.
Yes.
Of should have won the game and fumbled.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah, and I think you're right. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think, and I've said this before on the show and in life, when a coach, a good player, somebody you really care about goes down, everybody steps up.
Yeah.
Everybody steps up. It means more to the Browns than it does the Steelers.
Yeah.
Right now.
absolutely
right
does.
now because they know what they're playing for. They're making history right now. Those guys are, Baker's fired up, all that stuff. Your coach is down. You want to play better for him. I think it's going to be a better game than you think.
Well, I said it was going to be close.
Not necessarily you, than the world thinks.
Than the world.
The country.
Hey, man, don't throw me under the bus. I was on that fucking side of it.
Sorry. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I do too.
I didn't want to see a third game. I wanted it to jumble up to where you maybe saw them play the Titans again or the Bills. I think that would have been a pretty decent game, to be 100% honest with you, the way that the Browns have been running the football and chewing up clock and stuff. But, we get a third game. Sucks for the Browns fans, but I think it's going to be a close one still.
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker.
Uh-huh.
But if it's a heartbreaker leading into the game and you somehow scratch that win out.
Oh, shit.
So I'll tell you the one thing that's very indicative of how the Steelers play. The fact that the line's still at 6.5.
Yep.
Well, you just
tells
all
you
the stuff in the Browns facility keeps getting shut down.
Yep.
Because I think somebody else tested positive today.
No, they're all cleared out today.
They cleared out today?
They cleared out yesterday and today.
I thought there was a late break of somebody was...
If they did, I didn't hear about it.
But if waking up every day, not even know if you can go to fucking practice.
Yep.
And you're trying to make a playoff game.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy, man.
But it's one of those things, too, of you run the ball, run the fucking ball, run the ball.
Yep.
It just... Yeah. That's what you got to do.
I mean, if you can contain Watt, if you can contain that rush that they give you, because they blitz. I mean, it's Pittsburgh. They fucking blitz.
Do.
If you can contain that with your play action, Baker keeps the ball in his hands. It's going to be a 3 to 7 point game with 3 minutes left. Somebody's got the ball.
And this is one of those of I'll pick this game because we're probably going to pick all the games because there's only 6 of them. But this is one of putting money on if we were allowed to gamble in the state that we live.
Yeah.
I would probably put the bulk of my money on the under of that game because I feel like it's just going to.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fucking drag out knockout fight
because Cleveland's got to drag it down.
They have to.
Now where it could get longer is, Pittsburgh can't run the fucking ball.
No,
so they got to throw it a lot. So that's you have one team that can only win if they can run it.
Yeah,
and one team that basically only option is to fucking throw it.
Exactly.
I mean,
or you're gonna see the fucking Steelers somehow come out and have a fucking run game.
Well, or you just see it where Ben just says, "Hey, my headset's not working," just starts calling his own plays like it was rumored that he did in the second half of that one game when their offense actually looked like a fucking offense.
Yeah.
Oh, you stopped listening to your offensive coordinator and now it's okay?
Yeah, I know it.
Makes all the Pittsburgh people happy.
For sure.
I'll tell you what, though, man. The fucking Bills, though.
They're a fucking firecracker, man.
I am so pumped up to watch that game because Indy, at the end of the day, as far as my feelings on I like Indianapolis because they're kind of close to us.
Yeah.
And I've always been a Bengals fan. So it's like, hey, they're kind of in the, and I don't, I'm for the Browns getting better, but I'm not a Browns fan because I'm a Bengals fan.
Yeah, exactly.
And I kind of, the Indianapolis is close enough that it's like, all right, because I was a Pacers fan growing up. So, okay. So, I'll when the Bengals suck, I kind of lean toward Indianapolis. And obviously the Peyton Manning era didn't hurt that.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
But we'll say that Phillip Rivers is probably going to do Phillip Rivers shit
in
this game.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is like the way the Bills offense is playing, and Indianapolis, that's good fucking defense.
Yeah.
And they usually turn you over.
Yeah.
And that's where the game's at.
It could change, man. I think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a good one. I think you're going to see Phillip Rivers turn the ball over. I think that's just what he does in the playoffs.
I think it's going to be a tight game late, and Indy has a chance to win.
Yeah.
And it'll be like T.Y. Hilton over the middle with 7 defenders around him, and Phil will throw a lob pass to see if he can get it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it'll get picked off. And that'll be the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the Chargers fan will be on Twitter going, this is what you get with Phil.
Mm-hmm. I fucking think he's blowing up. My fucking phone. I keep my watch is, obviously tied to my phone. It just keeps getting blown up. ESPN and all this stuff.
A bunch of shit happens. Something we need to know about? Or is it just bullshit about sports?
I don't know if you heard, but there's rumors that Watson wants traded. Deshaun Watson wants traded. Okay.
I think I tweeted about that.
Okay.
I gave my thoughts of what it would take.
It's going to take a lot.
I don't get many Twitter followers.
Yeah.
But my thought was like, if that's the case, so if you're going to do it,
yeah.
If they just hire the guy from New England to be their GM.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do it, I mean, is it?
It's at least 2 first-rounders.
Oh, it's way more than that. Because you had defensive players get traded from the Jags this year. They got 2 first-rounders.
Yeah.
So that's.
You also, I know it's not the same guy, but you also traded DeAndre Hopkins for a bag of potatoes.
I understand.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about a franchise quarterback that is proven on a shitty team that he can put up numbers. And I'm here saying that maybe it's time they could move on and draft one.
Yeah.
If they would have still had their draft pick at number 3.
Exactly.
Because they're in a tear down rebuild because they got nothing. They just have nothing. But and plus you'd be trading for a quarterback that's a franchise quarterback. He's good with the media. He's good with the people. He's obviously a baller.
Yep.
And he's under contract and paid for 4 years.
Yep.
Like he's locked up.
Yeah.
My thought is either your first round picks for the next 3 years, your second round picks for the next 3 years, your best player.
Yeah.
And probably something else.
Yeah.
Or all your picks this year, all your picks next year. And probably 2 more first rounders.
Okay.
Which you just can't do.
No, the problem is, you sold that. You're probably not wrong with the high level of shit that they're going to want from him. Because the dude from the Patriots, he's not stupid like Bill O'Brien. He's going to obviously want fucking something in return that's high level. I don't think it's going to be as high level as that, though, at the end of the day. Because this guy's new. He doesn't want somebody in there that doesn't fucking want to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's going to want to try to ship him out if that's the actual case.
And we don't even know that because this is all based off a tweet.
Exactly.
That just said, some things never change.
Yes.
And nobody knows what that was about.
No.
We're just speculating.
Exactly. So, if that's true, you're going to see, I believe, a realistic trade for that would be your first round picks the next 2 to 3 years, a player, maybe not your best player, maybe not even a quarterback, but it is a player.
Be a quarterback,
no, it wouldn't be a quarterback, but it's at least one of your best players, and maybe a couple second round picks there. I don't think that is a terrible trade if you're somebody who is in a winning now situation. I think Deshaun Watson gets traded to a team who's ready to win now, who's just missing that one piece.
Yeah.
Because I don't, a lot of people are like, the Jets. The Jets, if they get a smart GM, they're not going to want to trade away their first picks for the next 3 years.
Right.
They're not going to want to do that because you're still trying to build what you have. A team who has weapons around them that needs a quarterback is going to trade for them.
Yeah.
Somebody, I'll throw the hat in there of the Broncos are probably in that hat if they're smart.
Chicago.
Indianapolis. Atlanta. They have
Atlanta just came out and said that everybody's for sale.
Yeah, but they're in okay. When I say win now, I mean they have the pieces to win now. Their mode is not win now.
Yeah.
They have the offensive pieces to win now.
Yeah.
The receivers, running backs, the offensive line is all first round picks. Defense is defense, but they're in that situation.
In the way I look at it, and I understand what Watson's saying, because with what his contract's left and what Billy O. Stooge did to that franchise, because not only do they not have draft picks, they have no cap space. Like, they can't sign free agents.
Yeah, exactly.
They have to cut J.J. Watt.
Yes, they have to cut a lot of players, and
they're
going to cut that receiver. Their only best receiver, who just got suspended the last 4 games.
Who they chose to not trade when they knew they there's no chance they could resign him.
No.
Now, granted, he's also their best receiver that is probably the worst ball catcher in the NFL.
Exactly.
Like, he can't catch the fucking ball.
No.
Like, the number one thing you would say about him would not be that he catches the ball well.
No, not at all. Which
he's a top flight receiver in the NFL. That probably should be everybody's first. Well,
exactly.
He runs routes really good.
He can't catch.
Well, let's
Clifford Franklin.
It's fucking Featherstone from fucking or Stonehands.
Stonehands.
I think it was Featherstone. I think it was his name.
So, yeah.
Don't throw it to stone hands.
But I think, teams like that are going to be the one. If he gets traded, the teams in a win now situation are going to be the ones.
San Francisco.
He
would be phenomenal in San Francisco.
Exactly, though, but because they're in a now situation. I think that.
And they have everybody.
Yeah. I think that's where you're going to see him get traded to. I don't think you're going to see him get traded to somebody who's trying to rebuild. Yeah. I don't see that happening.
But where I was going with that is the as bad a situation as they're in, if you're just Deshaun Watson, you're thinking about it of, hey, by the time I'm up for renegotiation in 3 years, we're still going to be one of the worst teams because we have to go that long until we can have a first round draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're going to click. They're going to sign free agents, because they're going to cut J.J. Watt. There's $17 million, so there's a wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to have pieces. So, but they're only going to be able to build pieces to one side of the ball.
Exactly, they can't do both.
So it's either, hey, we got to cut these guys, and we got to sign some of these receivers coming available.
Yeah,
and then we're just going to kind of have to outscore people.
Yeah,
or we're going to sign a bunch of defensive guys, and then just hope that Deshaun can score enough points. And that's really what they're going to have. That's their only choice.
So I think it's going to be an interesting thing to watch over these next couple months.
Yeah.
I know they can trade and it's in principle and it doesn't happen until March or whatever, but still.
I mean, he's not getting traded. If he was up for trade, you're not getting a head coach.
Yeah.
You're just not.
No, you're right.
That's the only thing. That's the only reason you would take the job. I mean.
Yeah. And unless you get all that fucking stuff, unless you get the next first 3 round picks, second round picks, and a fucking, I don't know, a play, a good player, you know what I'm saying?
Well, if you think you're a coach that says, hey, we're going to have all these picks and everything, and I can sign, Jameis Winston for 15.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay.
We'll see what we got. Maybe he's good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he obviously is very talented.
Mm-hmm.
Who
knows?
Maybe it's Wayne Haskins for $1 million.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he does get traded. I really do. I do, because we've always talked about a new GM wants to start fresh. Nobody wants to go into a new job where there's controversy already.
Yeah.
And I think he just wants...
That's kind of the bad...
A lot of people just want to go ahead and get rid of it. And we've talked about the Patriot way.
That's what they're trying to do.
That's what they're trying to do. That's something the Patriots would do.
I think a lot of people forget the guy that just hired this guy from the Patriots. Now, he was the director of player personnel. Which meant that he got some good tutelage, but you don't make the decisions there. Bill Belichick does.
Exactly.
Like, you can evaluate talent and give Bill the names, but Bill is the guy.
Exactly.
And the guy that just hired this guy, the guy that happens to be the president of the Houston Texans, is also from New England. And that's where I read into that text of the more of the same. It's how everybody goes after, like, the Bill Belichick coaching tree that is not good.
Yeah.
Except for one guy that happens to be in Miami. But that's how I read into it, of like, oh, okay, yeah, well, we're just going to hire everybody from New England thinking that we're going to be New England when it's Bill Belichick's the guy that runs that organization. It's not these guys.
No. Yeah, so I mean, that's the way I looked at it, as most people don't want controversy the minute they get hired. Yeah. So if it actually is controversy, I can see him. I think he's traded.
That's one of those things too. Like, I don't know, now's the time to do it, because the other thought is, you don't know if you're going to have fans next year, because we just don't know that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to pull the trigger on something like this, now's the fucking time.
Exactly. Because nobody's there to not come.
Nobody's there to boo.
Exactly.
And if that's what if you're going through a rebuild, and if you could, hey, if I got all my picks back that Bill O'Brien did, plus more, plus a player,
something.
And it would be, and when I say best player, I'll be real upfront and honest when I say, like, three firsts, 3 seconds, and your best player, being that your best player is a fucking offensive lineman.
Exactly.
Here's a left tackle. Okay, so we got this guy.
Yep.
We don't have to spend a first round pick on that guy. That, and now all of a sudden, okay, now we've got something.
Yep.
Because we can, in the NFL, if you can build through the draft, you can always make the playoffs with a quarterback that you sign.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you can always get a guy basically 20 to 25 million. If you're going to have a guy starting for your team as a quarterback, baseline he makes 20 mil.
Yep.
That's just kind of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not 40.
Nope.
So, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think.
Options.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we can back to be talking about the game. Sorry, I got those updates.
That's all right. We kind of need to talk about that because that was probably something on what you talked. I mean, we can break down the games as we go through the picks.
Yeah.
But you said something about coaching.
Yeah, coaching.
You wanted to do that.
Yeah, just there's 6 spots open. You obviously have Houston, who we just talked about. You have Atlanta, the Jacksonville, Los Angeles.
Yep.
Who the hell? I got the other ones. Give me 1 second here.
New York.
I forgot about the Jets.
Chargers.
That's what was Los Angeles. And Detroit.
Yeah.
So, based on what they have, what they're going to have, who's available, who they're interviewing, what do you think, in your opinion, is the best landing spot?
This is the funny thing that you say this because we just had that conversation. The best job currently, now granted, tweets and stuff are changing that.
Yeah.
The 100% best job as a coach to take right now is Houston.
You think that, huh?
I do.
Even though
they
picks?
don't have anything. You can win with fuck quarterback.
You can.
They're the only one that have one.
You're right. And I will second. I will tag off of that with what you should go ahead. Keep going. I'll tag off of that.
Of all the people all the teams you just listed, Chargers are
that was mine.
Yeah, because they have a young guy that you
can do something
pretty good
with.
choice that he's the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But you have the guy.
Yeah, you're right.
In Houston.
You're right.
And you don't have a lot. You're going to cut some money. You're going to end up with 40 million, 50 million of contract. Now, they will. The one thing that this guy that they just hired from New England is probably good at is kicking the can of, well, we don't have any cap room.
Yep.
But we're going to renegotiate all these contracts. And we're going to end up with 50 million.
Yeah. Yep.
They can get a couple pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But you didn't get blown out a lot in Houston, and you fucking suck.
Yep.
So if I'm a coach, the fact that Bill O'Brien got fired with Deshaun Watson as his quarterback is fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because we talk about this all the time. How many quarterbacks are there in the NFL?
There's
8?
not many. Yeah. There's not
and
many.
He's top 5.
Yeah.
So the fact that you have a chance at a top 5 NFL quarterback, it'll be higher than that because you're going to have some guys retire.
Yeah.
That's the job.
Mm-hmm.
You get one wide receiver and a couple defensive pieces.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're in the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, because that division isn't very good.
Yeah.
I mean,
the fastest way, because I think a lot of people don't think about that. You have to make choices when they build their teams.
Yeah.
And you make choices. You have to make choices of how to win your division. Because that's the easiest way to make the playoffs is to win your division.
Yep.
You can win that division with Deshaun Watson.
You can, because he's done it before.
Yeah.
It's not like they've had spectacular teams when they've won that division. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They've had pieces, like you said.
Yeah.
They've had a J.J. Watt. They've had Hopkins. They've had Watson,
Yeah.
They've had pieces. They haven't had, spectacular things. My best job probably would be, and I'm looking more of the whole team.
Yeah.
You're right. Deshaun Watson's the best quarterback available.
Yeah.
No fucking hands down of a head coach. I'm going with the Chargers, probably. I think that Herbert's the guy. I think, they've shown that they have a slew of running backs that can, take care of that. They have a ton of weapons on defense if they're healthy.
Yeah.
I know that's a big asterisk, but if they're healthy, they have a ton of weapons on that defensive side of the ball. I think you could almost really get, if I'm in my mind, the best candidate, and I could be completely wrong and people don't agree with, is Bieniemy from the Chiefs.
Yeah.
He's now I also don't like when head coaches call plays, which is probably what he would do, but it's tough because you don't really start to care about anything else. But as long as you have a really solid defensive coordinator, then you're okay.
Yeah.
I think he's smart enough to realize that. And I think that's where he ends up going because there's a young quarterback. has very similar attributes to Patrick Mahomes. Can sling it. We'll see decision making and things like that, as it progresses. But there's running backs there. He can sling the ball. He can make all the throws. You saw it. 30 touchdowns as a rookie is something fucking incredible. I think that's really him. And I could be wrong, but I just think that is the spot, because as a whole, that's better than a lot of the other teams as a whole team.
Yeah. I will say one thing on that that I agree with is, how many games would they have won if it wasn't fucking mismanaged by the coaching staff at the end of the game?
Probably 5.
Oh, they have 11 games? Mm-hmm. They win 11 games?
Probably.
They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, or a missed field goal, or their special teams are fucking shit.
Terrible. But they were leading a lot of games with 5 minutes left in the game and ended up losing. Yeah. And I'm not saying, hey, they were up 3. I'm saying they were up fucking 10 with 5 minutes left and found a way to get beat.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm a head coach.
Okay.
Going off of what I just said about Houston making the playoffs. Who's in your division?
I understand that. Yes, I get that.
If I'm a head coach, I'm looking at that of like, well, they have their guys locked up for the next 5.
Yeah.
And their quarterback for the next 10.
Yeah.
That's my problem with that job of
I'm with you.
Being the easiest route to be a playoff team. Because at the end of the day, if you're not a perennial playoff team, you're fired.
Yeah.
That's the NFL.
That's the NFL.
Being there with the Chiefs, that's my problem with that gig.
Yeah, and that's one thing I thought about of a negative.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst team in that division won 6 games.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Probably the reason BMD probably isn't taking that job.
Probably, because he doesn't want to get beat by the Chiefs twice a year. Those are all good points.
Yeah.
I'm thinking as I said, a whole team.
They have the best team.
Yes.
If there's a team that needs a coach right now that you could have made a strong argument that should have been in the playoffs, it's that one.
Exactly. So, I would say with Houston not having picks, you don't even know what the hell Jacksonville is.
You don't know what Jacksonville is. They don't have a GM.
Mm-hmm.
You know they have Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But that's it. They have a shit ton of picks, and they have a shit ton of cap space.
Yep.
But you also have their owner coming out saying, I'm going to have final say on the roster. Mm-hmm. That's just how it is right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
You're a fantastic businessman. You own everything.
Yeah.
I know he owns one of the Premier League teams, and I think he owns fucking Wembley Stadium.
He might.
I think he does.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense why they play there every time that they go to England.
I mean, I could be fact checked wrong on that, but I think like he owns like in one of those like what are those Netflix movies? Oh, I don't know. It might have been that Ryan Reynolds movie that was on Netflix.
Oh yeah, where they're like the con men.
Where they have that, isn't there a big scene like on this massive fucking yacht?
Yeah.
That's his yacht.
Oh, okay.
They borrowed that to shoot that movie.
Awesome.
So that's the guy.
Okay. Yeah, also, yeah.
Seems like an awesome fella.
Uh-huh.
But I start thinking Jerry Jones when I see that of like, okay, hell.
Easy there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I agree with that.
How about we get a football guy here?
Exactly. I don't think that's right. And it may change if he hires a guy, and he really trusts him, but you're right there.
There's one with what they got going on and the way it's sent, because I know you're a big Louis Riddick guy.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a spot for him.
It would have been. Because he could have been like,
hey, we got 11 picks. We got Justin Herbert. We get a guy here. That kind of...
Justin Herbert? You mean for the Jaguars? Trevor Lawrence?
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
But with everything they have, with all their cap space stuff, that seemed like a place that...
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure he used to be a scout. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So, he understands how that works. So, yeah, I think that would have been
the spot for that.
Detroit's the worst job opening there is.
Yeah.
And
there's no faith.
There's nothing. And I feel really bad for Robert Saleh, who's probably going to get that job because he's a really good defensive coordinator. But there's just nothing there. There's no hope. It really feels like there's no hope there.
If I was, Saleh, because there's only 32 of them.
Uh-huh.
So it's a big deal.
Yeah. Stay with the Niners, dude.
Yeah. You hate to be a guy that turns away a coaching job.
Mm-hmm.
But not that one.
Nope.
Because I don't if you got to be a coordinator for one more year to wait for one, because they come open every year.
Every year.
To wait for one that you need to get, because after you get fired in 3 years in Detroit, guess what? You got to go be a defensive coordinator
Again.
for 2 more years before you get that chance.
Exactly.
Here's what Detroit fans would be pissed at this, and I'm a Bengals guy. I think the best hire for the Lions right now is fucking Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
Because I know he gets shit on, and a lot of Bengals fans shit on him. That guy won a lot of fucking games for a franchise that operates very similarly to the way the Bengals do.
Yeah.
They always shit on themselves. And Marvin Lewis just fucking
gets it.
He got worked. He won fucking games.
Yeah, he did. And that's what you need right now. You don't need to go to the playoffs. You just need to win games.
You need to win games.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
to get players to want to come to Detroit, you have to win games.
I know a lot of people shit on the Marvin Lewis thing of like, guy won fucking games in Cincinnati.
They're going to need somebody who's done it before. I don't think having a first-year head coach is their move.
Because I think the Marvin Lewis thing in Cincinnati, what should have happened with him is they kept him for 3 years too long. And that's almost anywhere. Like Tomlin and Belichick and Marvin Lewis at that time. Like that shit's unheard of.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, now it's not in Pittsburgh because
since
like the 60s, there's been more popes than there have head coaches of the Pittsburgh Steelers in that time frame.
Yeah.
So Steelers, that's just what they do. But in the NFL, somebody getting over 10 to 12 years is just fucking unheard of.
It is.
So where Marvin Lewis he's a guy that gets you to the next guy. So if they would have fired him or just parted ways with him instead of giving him that extra 3 years, because they signed him to an extension for those 3 years.
Yep.
You had that core of a team that was perennial playoff, like 4 years in a row. You could have got, I can't remember back who would have been the hot coach, but it would have been like a Bieniemy type.
Exactly.
The hot new coordinator job of you could have got that guy to come and kind of finish it off.
Exactly.
And, then they went the opposite direction and hired a guy that delivered pizza to Sean McVay at some point in time. So obviously he's good at that.
And it's just a sad organization.
Yeah, they're bad.
They are bad. And it sucks, but that's just what it is.
And the bad problem is me to saying that is I know how I've been a Bengals fan my whole life. I know exactly how they fucking feel. Except for the fact of the way the Bengals don't fire coaches.
Yeah.
We run out contract.
Exactly.
Detroit fires winning coaches.
Exactly. Because they're
you went 9-7? Get the fuck out of here, pal.
Sorry, buddy. We don't
There's
want
a name
you.
too. I think Jim Caldwell should catch something. I know he's had some health issues the last couple of years, but he should catch a job, I think.
Yeah, he wins.
Yeah. Kind of wins.
I feel like the Atlanta job and the Jets job are almost similar.
Yeah.
In a way, because you don't know what they are either. The Jets have nothing.
No.
At least Atlanta has some offensive pieces that you can work with, and then their defense is kind of scatterbrained.
Yeah.
But you don't know what New York is. They have nothing that is solid. You know what I mean?
I think their GM's solid.
Okay.
I do. I mean, he's only been there for. He's the one that had to come and start cleaning all the gay shit up.
Yes.
He's on the other.
Yes. Okay. I know you're talking about now.
Yeah. He doesn't. Yeah. He doesn't get tied in with these guys. Like this guy kind of knows what he's doing. Because I view that differently. Of New York has been torn down and they're on the build up, and for however many fucking years.
Yeah.
That is. The downfall of that is just the stigma of them being the New York Jets. Because it's,
Yeah, it's not good.
But in Atlanta, once you get hired, I think your problem is that you're coming into a job that needs to tear the organization down and rebuild it.
And then you're probably
the guy that's got to say, hey, we need to trade Julio Jones. And we need to trade Matt Ryan. We need to get out. We need to get going in a different direction because they take a quarterback this year.
Yeah, they have to.
That happens.
They have to.
And I think you have to trade Julio Jones now. For the main fact is he's fucking $22 million.
Yeah.
You gotta, hey, sorry, man. Like, you've been great. You're awesome. You're the best ever according to everybody.
Yeah.
We just can't. And, and he might be kind of just fucking retires after that. Because it seems like he's okay being there.
Yeah.
But it's a teardown.
Mhm.
Like they got to start from scratch.
Yep. I would agree with that too. Yeah. So, I mean, I hope this stuff, just because I love fucking this kind of stuff right here.
Yeah.
I love the off season because of this stuff. I want to see some movement. I know interviews are still happening and stuff like that, but teams have to hire really GMs before they hire coaches.
Right.
So, and there's a lot of teams that need GMs.
Yeah.
So I think
that's always a weird one to me, of teams that are hiring coaches before they hire a GM. Like, well, how are you doing that?
Yeah. You want to,
Because who do you, to me, you have to sit back. If I'm the owner or president or whoever's doing that hiring, who's going to be here the longest?
Yeah.
The answer better be the fucking general manager,
probably.
because that's the guy who should be hired first.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the coach should fit this guy's philosophy of how we win.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to hire, Urban Meyer, that's a talk in Jacksonville.
Uh-huh.
So they would get that done, and then you're going to hire a GM to get Urban's type of guys, because Urban's not going to last. He's going to get fired in 3 years, or he's going to retire. Because it's just not going to work.
No.
And I'm a big Urban Meyer fan.
But that's what he does.
He's a hard-nosed college coach.
Mm-hmm.
30-year-old millionaires will not be yelled at like that.
No. Nope.
It's just
hey, how it is, yeah.
Tough shit, pal.
Mm-hmm.
This,
Yeah.
I'm not practicing today because I have to wait till Sunday to get a Toradol shot just so I can play. So I'm not going full pads. And I don't, and Urban Meyer, that's just not how it goes.
And did you see the number that he wants?
12?
Yeah.
It's a big number.
That's a big number.
For somebody that's never done it.
That's a big number.
For somebody that's never finished a contract.
Yeah, it's a big number.
I mean.
It's a big number. Yeah. I think,
Did we cover all of them?
I think so. You want to make our picks now?
Sure.
Cool. All right, let's start. You just want to go do all six, or
yeah,
you want to do it by
day? Do you got the numbers?
Yeah, I got the numbers.
Yeah, I think we both need to just pick all the games since there's just
we're going to both pick them?
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, because
I didn't know if you want to do 3 and 3 and.
Well, that's not fun.
Okay. We'll do all of them.
I think we should do all of them.
Okay. Spell my name right.
I'm spelling my name first because I'm the best.
Okay. That's it. Dang, that looks good. That looks good.
All right. There was a joke that nobody is going to know anything about.
All right. First game up on Saturday afternoon. Colts and Bills.
What's the number?
Bills -6.5.
Okay. I'm going to take the Bills -6.5. And I know you're going to do the same thing. And that's okay, man.
Okay, good.
We're allowed to agree on this. We don't have to
Damn it.
go different sides of it. I assume you're going the same way.
Of course, yes.
And my reasoning for that is because Phil's going to fill.
Yeah.
And secondly, obviously the video of the Bills today kind of dancing and stuff on the practice field. Feel like a team that fucking loves each other and are having a good fucking time.
Exactly.
And the way their fans are and the way they interact with their it
feels good.
Yeah, they have a good feeling about the Bills.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that.
And not to mention, they just been fucking murdering people as of late.
Recent signings of big name free agencies and trades and stuff like that. Obviously you go back to Peyton leaving the Colts and other things like that. Stephon Diggs to the Bills has made all that fucking difference.
Here's another one talking about kind of how I made the point with Waddle and stuff.
Yeah,
Stephon Diggs, because he's listed as questionable because he's got like that abdomen strain or whatever. Well, he was at practice, he was in pads, and he was also dancing with those guys.
Exactly.
He's fucking playing.
Exactly.
Or he wouldn't be in pads already.
Yes.
He would be in the training room
doing stuff.
Doing that.
Stephon Diggs did for less with the Bills. He did that. He did all of this good stuff that he's done. He got traded for less. That's what the Cardinals thought Hopkins was going to do.
Yeah.
That's what they thought he was going to do.
Different players. I mean, I've never been a deep.
No.
He's the guy that's the opposite of the Texans receiver now.
Exactly.
He catches everything that's thrown at him, no matter what.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Next game Saturday afternoon. Rams and Seahawks. The Seahawks are -3.5. This one's tough for me.
I think it's tough for everybody.
The 3.5 is tough anyway.
Yeah.
Because you do not know how Russell Wilson's going to play. You don't know if they're going to run the ball.
I don't know who the fuck Seattle is anymore.
I know. They were lights out that first half of the season. And then it was like these last 5 weeks, it's like, is he trying to do too much again?
Like, well, they're in the fourth quarter and they have 6 fucking points.
Yeah. I'm going to go Rams.
Okay.
I think they beat Seattle. And
what was that number? Rams?
3.5.
Getting?
Plus 3.5 Rams.
Yeah.
I honestly can see the Rams beating them. I also can turn around and see the Seahawks fucking blitzing them and getting them by 2 scores. But I'm going with the Rams. I trust that defense. Aaron Donald, the Seahawks offensive line is absolutely dog shit.
Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey and DK Metcalf, they've already played each other twice. I don't want to see that matchup again. So I'm going Rams.
Yeah. And I'm going Seahawks.
Okay.
And not just as an opposite thing of it's been shitty. Again, if I didn't have to pick this game, I wouldn't pick this game.
Yeah.
But at this point in time for me, it's Seahawks. It's playoffs now.
Yeah, I know.
Now it's I mean, you have a douchebag quarterback, but he tends to play well in the playoffs.
He does. I'm with you on that one. And
let's go, team.
Yeah.
We're really good. This is what I do. I'm very positive. I like to throw the ball. That's him.
It? That's him?
Fucking Russell Wilson right there.
All right.
He's really shitty at hosting the ESPYs, too.
Yeah. He's not good at that. Not funny. He's not a funny guy.
Also, will not be getting an MVP vote this year.
Yeah, not at all.
Remember that? That was he's never even gotten a vote. Well, he's the winner. First 3 weeks balling.
Yeah.
There's nobody that can beat him. And I was like, fuck out of here.
Shut up. Last game, I think we can both.
Can I stop this real quick?
Yeah.
We all just got to agree that Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, right?
100%.
If somebody else wins that, it's a
abysmal.
fucking joke.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No,
I just wanted to see if we're on the same page.
100% on the same page.
It's not even a fucking...
Not even close. Late game, Bucks and Washington. They have to go to Washington. Bucks are minus 8.5. Or sorry, 8.
Yeah. This one here... The shocking thing is...
You want to pick Washington, don't you?
Kinda.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to.
Uh-huh.
Because the thing is teams with losing records that have hosted home games and been dogs...
Yeah. Win
the game.
Yeah, I know they do.
Almost
all the
exclusively.
Time. Yeah.
But the only other point is those teams usually have just like shit defenses and score points, though.
Yeah.
Where Washington has a good defense but cannot score.
Score points, yeah.
Like, I don't know... How would Washington get to 20 points?
I don't know.
Besides,
defensive,
how many touchdowns does Chase Young have to score?
Yeah,
to win.
Yeah, I think the Bucks. I'm going Bucks too. I don't know if you are.
Yeah.
I don't like picking the Bucks because I think every time I pick the Bucks, they lose.
Oh yeah.
So, but yeah, I think the Bucks win.
And not to mention, I just want to say this. I don't know if you saw that. What Alex Smith's wife did.
Mm-mm.
His big like halo leg brace that he had after all his surgeries.
Yeah.
She took that leg brace and had an artist fashioned it to where it looked like the Lombardi Trophy.
That's nice.
And here's my thought on that. Because comeback player of the year should be named the Alex Smith Trophy.
Yes.
And a replica of fucking that should be what they get. Because that guy has been... it's
amazing.
And not to mention, and I think what people, 17 surgeries, almost died, came back and played. Everybody fucking cringed when Aaron Donald jumped on his fucking back, like the first series.
Yeah.
But guy has been perfect teammate.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody says anything bad about him.
Nope.
6-1, I think.
Yeah.
In a complete shit show of an organization.
Yeah.
And the guy's been just fucking, hey, we keep moving forward.
Yep.
I fucked up leg, no problem. Rehab for 2 years, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Almost died, check. No name on the football team, all right.
Yep.
Bunch of sexual harassment in the front office, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Quarterback in the first round, got to get him cut because he's a strip club lover with no mask. All right, well, we're just going to keep moving forward.
Uh-huh. Yeah, and gets to the playoffs.
I mean, that fucking guy.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's been through it all.
Yeah.
He's been through it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him.
I'm guessing nobody out there really cares about that, but that's just the fucking respect level I have for that guy.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. All right, so Sunday's games, Ravens and Titans open up at 1 o'clock. Baltimore is minus 3.5. They're the favorites.
Yeah. Man. This game.
Yeah, I know.
Because here's the thing. Tennessee's defense fucking sucks.
They really do.
But they really suck. Well, they suck all over.
Uh-huh.
They super suck against the pass, which
Yeah.
Baltimore's not great at that.
Mm-hmm.
But they're also not great against the run.
Yeah.
And Baltimore's super good at that.
Yeah.
And
Do you want to make your pick first, or do you want me to?
No, I'll go.
Okay.
You went first on the last one. Or did I? No, it's your turn to go. It's your turn to go first. You go.
I'm going to go Ravens.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go.
I'm going to go Ravens. I think they win.
Yeah.
And I think they, I think if anything, the Titans have seen that they can either win.
What was the number on that game?
3.5.
To who?
The Ravens are minus 3.5. They can win in a last-second field goal last week, or they can win in overtime with Derrick Henry just running all over your defense.
Yeah.
And scoring. So they're a tough team to pick because you don't know what the hell you're going to get. They also got fucking reamed by the Browns, so you don't know what they are.
And I think the Ravens are kind of on that run.
They're playing their best football at the end of the year, which is what you want.
And I want to say that the Ravens won't get beat the same way they got beat by them last year in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And that's the only way that Tennessee can win.
Yeah.
Unless Tennessee somehow comes out and just starts fucking slinging it all over.
Yeah, we don't know.
Which, you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's a tough. And is it going to be the fastest game? Of like, we only run the ball on both sides of it. This game was over in an hour and a half.
Yeah, it might be. Who the hell knows? Okay, so second game on Sunday is Bears and Saints. Saints are minus 10.5. Or no, sorry. 10. 10 flat. 10 flat.
That's even tougher.
I know it is.
It's in New Orleans, but there's no fans, so I don't think that fucking matters. I'm going to... I don't want to do this.
I know.
That might have got clipped. That whispering thing, I probably shouldn't do that. That could have got clipped by the... You
going Bears?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and just say I'm going Saints. This is Drew Brees last year. I think he's going to try to play his best football right now.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas is playing. That makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You got your running backs back. So, the Bears defense is good. I just don't think that they can do anything on offense.
And the only reason I'm doing that is because Drew Brees has a noodle.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of fucking points in a playoff game.
Yeah.
And for the last 4 years, stupid shit happens to the Saints
You're right.
in New Orleans in the playoffs, and they lose games for weird reasons.
Yeah.
I don't think they lose this game.
Okay.
Chances are, if I had to bet against myself, I would bet that this game's going to end up in a push for me at the 10-point margin.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping for 9.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, because I shit you not, if it was 10.5, I'd have taken the Saints.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, 9.5, I would have taken the Saints.
Yeah.
10 is that number, because 10.5, it's a Bears pick.
Yeah.
It's fucking Vegas.
Last game, Browns Steelers, and we already talked about that at the beginning of the show. Steelers are minus 6.5.
Yeah.
I think it's my turn. I still think the Steelers win. I just think it's going to be 7 points.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm picking them at 6.5. So
that's a weird way to say it. Weird. I think they're going to win by 7.
I do think.
So you're good with that.
I'm good with that. I think the Steelers win.
I think we're on the same boat.
I really it sucks for the Browns, with the coach and the player. I honestly probably feel more bad for the Bitonio guy than I do the Browns. He was on the fucking 0-16 team.
Well, here's the thing that sucks. How long's the guy been in the league?
I don't think so. I think he's only been in the league I think he got drafted by the Browns.
Yeah, like 8 to 10 years.
6 years,
maybe 6.
Yeah,
but it's one of those things of like, it is very realistic, and I think the Browns are okay.
Yeah,
but it's very realistic that they don't make the playoffs again in this guy's career, and this is his only and he can't fucking play.
I know it. Yeah,
because and it's not shitting on the Browns. It's mainly for the fact that you play in the AFC North. And as we talked about, the easiest way to make the playoffs is win your fucking division.
You were
pretty fucking tough division to
you're
win.
11-5, and we're on the bubble this year, guys.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's tough.
It's tough.
Tough.
And this goes into the fact that they fucking put their confidence back in fucking Zach Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
3 of the 4 teams in your fucking division won double digits and are in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he your guy still?
I know.
Your quarterback's dragging his fucking leg because all he did was throw the ball when he didn't need to because you weren't going to win. There you go.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
It's just when you start looking at the playoffs going, well, the Browns won 11 games and are in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they're usually the low team in the league.
Yep. Yeah. You got to make some changes.
I mean, it's fucking tough in the AFC North, dude.
Yeah,
it's like no fucking joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any other conference? Well, there's no other division like that, is there? Is there any other 3-team divisions?
No. It used to be if the Niners were good, it was the NFC West with the with the Rams of the past. The Seahawks, Rams, and Niners the last couple of years have been kind of similar to that. For a long time, it was the NFC or the AFC West with the Chiefs, Chargers, and the Broncos.
I'm not so sure that the year would have been the years that the Bengals were winning like 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not so sure that in one of those years that the AFC North didn't get 3 teams in.
Yeah.
The fact that like the Bengals won the division and the Steelers and the Ravens were the 2 wild card teams.
Yeah, I know. Something like that.
Something like that of like, this is a tough fucking division.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is.
And if the Browns are going to be good, and, the Zach Taylor thing, it is what it is, but it seemed like Joe Burrow's a fucking dude.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that.
Yep.
They're not, they're not going to be a pushover for all that. I mean, that division has the looks because, Pittsburgh and Baltimore, they're just, they're who they are.
Yep.
They're always going to be there. And if the Browns are in this direction, and I think they're heading in the,
the right
good
direction.
spot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
tough division.
There's no.
Yeah.
Because I think in another year or two, like with Joe Burrow, like Cincinnati's with that quarterback is not going to be a pushover.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to give you a game.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right.
It's fucking exciting. I love the NFL.
I know, it's so awesome, isn't it?
It's so fucking good.
It is good.
Like, dude, even to the last week, we're talking about the Colts didn't look great, but they won that game. And the fact of, like, the almost got a home game.
Yeah.
Because Houston scores, but then in some fucked up way, they give up a 40-yard pass play with 10 seconds left in the middle of the field when they had a timeout.
I know.
Of like, what? How does that happen?
I know.
And then the kicker dings it in off the upright. The fact of that of the chance of hosting a playoff game or not.
Yeah. Came to a dean field goal. Ding. Yeah. Yeah. Crazy.
And then not to mention the division nobody gives a fuck about ends in controversy when you got a chance to win and you pull your starting quarterback for a guy that's fucking garbage.
Yeah.
And the fact that Al Michaels are they tanking this game?
Yeah.
On the air.
On the air. Yeah.
That is fantastic.
I know.
And they 100% were.
100% were.
Win that game, 11th pick.
Yeah.
Lose that game, 6th pick.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, not making the playoffs.
Exactly. What's it matter?
We want to see what this guy's got. Oh,
why?
Because the guy that you picked in the second round that's been playing good, you don't know about him?
Exactly.
Or the guy that you're paying $100 million, you want to see what the third guy has.
Exactly. We just want to know our options.
We just want to know that we're going in, we're down 2, brought this guy in. Well, he threw a pick in his, first, and then he fumbled. Mm-hmm. So, we're good. We know what we got now. We got the 6th pick.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we got. That's what we got. Yeah.
So, yeah, it's good stuff, man. I can't wait till this fucking weekend's going to be awesome.
It's going to be great.
You have 3 games Saturday, 3 games Sunday, national championship Monday. Massive fucking weekend coming out.
It's going to be great.
Super big content for us.
Love it.
For a week. I I think that's all I got.
That's all I have.
All right, man.
Whiteside.